Welcome to the final video in this series. If you've been following along, you may have wondered why I haven't made mention of the Super Mario Bros. Games. This is because the memories behind these games are very special to me, and I wanted to save the best for last. Today I present you with 3 amazing games from my childhood.
Now you're playing with Tower.
I'm not sure of the exact year I got the NES, but I can remember bringing it to my mother's attention several times. You can probably guess how that sales pitch went. I fed her all the neat information I myself obtained, more than likely from kids at school. Whatever it was I said to her obviously left an impression. Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt was the combo cart that came bundled with the system. And boy oh boy did we ever play quite a bit of both. Whenever my mother fired up that NES, I was usually right by her side watching her play. Whenever things got too tight and the frustration grew, she'd hand me the controller and ask for my help. Like the typical kid, I jumped at the chance to get that controller in my hands. I can still see her making her way through World 8, on the way to finish the game. It was something watching her carefully pace herself when approaching the Hammer Brothers along that long stretch just before the end of World 8-3, and seeing that feeling of satisfaction on her face when she made it without getting hit. Then when it came to Bowser's Castle, we would do our best in memorizing the correct path to take, listening for that tone that confirmed we made the right choice. I remember the day she told me that she beat the game. I had just walked in the door from school. You may not think so as an adult, but when you're a kid, learning that any grown-up, let alone your mother, finished a game is quite impressive. Let's face it, grown-ups were the type of people who couldn't hold a controller properly, and called them remotes. They also referred to cartridges as tapes. So unprofessional. Sheesh. So if one of these people actually beat a game, yeah, of course it would leave an impression on you. The only thing bad about this was if they finished the game before you, which if I recall correctly, just what my mother did to me. I should have been the one who completed the game first, and I wasn't. There should be laws against such things. She's lucky I didn't have her arrested for stealing my thunder, man. But whatever, at least she had fun doing it, and that's what matters. I mean, that's what I keep telling myself anyway. Like the first game, this one received a whole lot of playtime in my house growing up. For the longest time, this one was my favorite out of the 3 games in the series. It was quite a change of pace compared to the first one. I'm glad Nintendo gave us this version instead of what the Japanese folks were playing. Not because it was too difficult, but I just couldn't imagine this game being anything different from what I'm used to. Personally, I believe the Doki Doki Panic offering is so much better. Being able to stand on, pick up, and throw your enemies, as well as other items, is pretty dang cool. Then there's the ability to upgrade your health and find hidden coins to use in a bonus game at the end of a level. Yeah, I think we got the superior version. My mother would almost always get stuck on World 4-1, in that area where those little flurry enemies would run around. They looked like snowballs with feet and eyes. I think she was in too much of a rush to get through the level, and just didn't have enough patience with it. So she'd hand me the controller and have me get past that spot. I believe there was also a warp in this world too. I remember we both would try to reach it without falling to our doom. You had to bring a magic potion to a jar or pot looking thing on a little chunk of land below an icy platform. Once there, you had to throw the potion on top, then sink down into it to warp. I enjoyed the bosses. They looked pretty cool, although there wasn't anything amazing in how you took them on. All you had to do was throw stuff at them. That's it. Wart, the final boss, was an odd fellow though. I mean, his design was cool and all, but the actual battle was boring. I'd always felt like that contraption in the room that spat out vegetables somehow just didn't fit the scene. What's more, the whole fight was just a rinse and repeat of every other boss battle. I believe Nintendo could have done much better here. It just feels like they ran out of ideas with this one. I love the music that plays though. It's one of my favorite tunes from an NES game to this day. The Super Mario All-Stars version on the Super NES is even better. I did kind of feel cheated when it came to the ending of the game. I remember thinking to myself, that's it? I was seriously hoping for more. It was a nice ride and I didn't want it to end. I still enjoyed the game though. I don't quite recall if my mother had finished it or not, but like myself, I'm sure she had fun in the process. My sister was the person who introduced our home to Super Mario Bros. 3. Because I was in a private school at the time of release, my sister was the one who spent the majority of time playing this game with our mother, as I was away from home for the most part. I can still see them laughing and cheering each other on, just like it were yesterday. Out of all the games we played, for whatever reason, I think this was the game that really brought my sister and my mother close together. I can't really pinpoint the reason why I think this way, but something about it just feels right. If my sister were to tell me anything about her experiences playing this game with her, I have a feeling she would confirm my thoughts. There was just something special about seeing the two of them carrying on without a care in the world. I remember sifting through the pages of an issue of Nintendo Power that featured the game. A clay-like Mario was on the front, holding a golden coin, and an angry sun was below. Nothing like magazines of today. It was simple, which is what I really loved about it, and to the point. Nothing flashy. I was excited for this game. It looked so completely different, and yet so welcoming. I read through those pages God only knows how many times, and when it came to the strategy guide, I used that often, especially when it came to that card game because it showed you where everything was. Oh, and do you remember the advertisements for this game at McDonald's? In the one I seen them in, there were large cardboard cutouts of Raccoon Mario hanging from the ceiling, and they had Happy Meals with Mario toys inside. The whole place was plastered with Mario. I don't recall a McD's being so snazzied up before. It was kinda cool seeing a Nintendo video game all over the place like that. But the real kicker was watching the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage, and seeing Super Mario Bros. 3 for the first time when the doors opened on that giant TV screen. For me, it was like the power I had been playing with for so long just kicked in, and I wasn't even the one playing. I just stared in awe, and I loved what I was witnessing. Even as an adult, that scene still hits me the same way, every time. Do you remember the day you finished the game? I certainly do. I mean, I remember when I finished it. I can't say I remember when you did, because quite honestly, I wasn't there. Just wanted to make sure you understood that. At some point down the road, I worked as a CIT, which is a counselor in training, at a local school that was hosting summer classes for a small group of kids. One morning, I had gotten up at the butt crack of dawn, got ready for work, and started playing Nintendo while I waited on my neighbor to give me a ride. While I waited, I managed to get through World 8, and then onward to Bowser himself, and finally finishing the game right before my neighbor let me know it was time to go. Sure enough, on that blistering hot summer morning, I conquered Super Mario Bros. 3, and it felt really good too. I went to work with a smile on my face that day, for sure. I'll tell you something. There's so many things that I miss about being a kid. Like when my mother would make us cold-cut subs, serve them with a pile of potato chips and a glass of Kool-Aid. Or when we went to the movie theater and watched Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, and Ghostbusters. Sometimes we'd rent a movie or two from the local video store or have lunch at the Kmart diner. Then there were the nights when my mother and I would watch Star Trek The Next Generation, and sometimes she'd order Domino's Pizza. All these and more were amazing things. But when it came to that Nintendo, and all the fun we had, all the laughs, there was something extra special about that. I am so very thankful for that part of my childhood. This is Random Battle signing off, and until next time, stay random and battle on.